Hi, I want to share my own experience, my learning, what I learned about implementing the 40 days of prayer campaign in our church. A campaign is basically when you take a series that is to be preached over 6 weeks, but you concentrate all your energy on making that a 6 week period where you grow the church fast, as in you invite a lot of people, you put them into processes of membership and small groups and things like that. And we do this saturation, and the way even the word campaign means, you go full on for a little while. You can't sustain that kind of energy for too long. So what we do is we do that for 4, 5, 6 weeks, and then we back off, and then we work with the people who have come and joined our church during this time. So that's what a campaign is. And the recent one we just finished at my church, Covenant Life, and I wanted to share some of the learning with you. That's called 40 Days of Prayer. We get different material. This is what the material looks like with for every small group. Everyone in the small group has their own journal. We give out give out publicity material, invites telling them exactly what the topics are and how they can invite their friends based on that. We give all the details of where to meet, etc., etc. The thing with the campaign is there's a focus. We stop absolutely everything we're doing with the Sunday school, with the women's, men's, children's ministry. We stop everything we're doing, and everybody is doing the same thing. The same material applies to all the different ministries. We even shut down other major projects like social action or things like that, because what we're trying to do in this focus time of 5 to 6 weeks is we're trying to win people and bring people into our church. Once we have done that, let's say 5, 10, 20, 25, 50 people come into your new church, come new to your church. Now you want to process them and get them into small groups, into relationships, into the Lord, growing in the Lord. So that's kind of what a campaign is all about. Everybody gets on board. So you have to have that period where we prepared for it. We got everybody prepared for it. We wanted them to know it's coming up. We wanted them to know what the campaign is going to be about. This one we did was 40 days of prayer. And I want to share that with you. You can even order it from saddlebackresources.com or pastors.com. But I have some material also that I can get to you in the South Asia context. We also have it in Hindi, and I would love to get that to you if you want to use this campaign as an evangelistic tool. When you're doing a campaign, everything needs to be geared towards that. So what we did was we changed the worship style even. Normally we have open prayer and it's more the focus of what the congregation is giving to the Lord. But during a campaign we allow for the worship team to minister to the people, because when we're inviting so many unbelievers to church on Sunday morning, you can't expect them to kind of worship God. They want to watch us worship. So we present the worship rather than and we perform the worship rather than just expect everybody to get involved. That's how we make it a little bit more comfortable for those who are coming for the first time. When you go to a temple or when you go to a mosque, you're expected to get involved. You're expected to worship. You're expected to kneel down. But when we invite people to church, we're not asking them to worship our God, but more so we're asking them to witness our worship. Come and be with us. We want them to experience the peace of God's presence. We want them to experience the Word of God, the power of God. So that's kind of what we do with the worship. We got new people coming in, so you must have hospitality. We have snacks, we have drinks, we have things that just allow for a party feel. And when people come in, they feel a little bit more welcome when they do that. Another thing that we did this past campaign was, and this was, sometimes it's controversial, but what we did is we removed the offering and the communion during the campaign 4, 5, 6 weeks, during that time. And the reason for that is because communion belongs for the believers. It belongs to the believers. And God's people get together and they partake of the Lord's table. You can't expect unbelievers to come and partake of it. In fact, you can't call them and just say, don't come, don't touch, don't get involved. So we moved the communion to the small groups and home groups. And on Sunday morning, for this brief period of time, we didn't do that either. Why? Because we just felt that it's an unselfish move. It's a generous move from our side to put ourselves aside and allow for our unbelieving friends and our relatives and loved ones to kind of feel a little bit more comfortable. How did we do the publicity? I'm not very sure we did a great job on publicity. I would like to do a much better job next time, but we basically did publicity through word of mouth, and like I said, we gave out these invites. We used Facebook, we used event on Facebook, we sent out WhatsApp, every week we would change the graphic around and we'd send it out, and then our people forwarded that, so that worked for us, and we got quite a few people who joined and visited us during that time. As many as I'd like, no, not even close, but we did make a dent in our attendance. We went quite. We made a good 30% increase in our attendance during the publicity time, during the campaign. Let me tell you about small groups. Not only do you want people to come to church, you don't want just them to think that Sunday morning is it. You want them to build relationships. You want them to connect with your people, and that's why they're going to stay. They're going to come because you invited them. They're going to come because of the subject that you preached on, but they're going to stay because of friends. And we very quickly tried to put them into small groups by connecting them to the small group leader, showing them the material, and having good material for the small group. So this material that we did, and I have a whole package here that I can give to you. This material that we did, we gave it to the small groups, and the small groups watched another video and they discussed it, and it has been a huge blessing. It has been a huge blessing. In fact, some of the groups that got started later, they don't even want to stop now. Even though we finished, they are continuing that. So I'm really excited and encouraged by the desire for our groups to keep going. So small groups are the key to sustaining the fruit that comes from a campaign. And then the material you give in small groups is what's going to keep things going. Even that we have translated into Hindi, and we would love to share that with you as we go along. Another exciting thing that happened during my learning experience with this last campaign was we invited, I don't know if you remember, but we invited a lot of you to come join us during this campaign. So pastors, churches, small groups, large groups all around North India and even outside, they decided to come with us. Some lagged behind a week, 2 weeks, and we would send them the material. Some were absolutely with us day by day, and they joined us. So in Allahabad, in Nagpur, in Dehradun, and several other places, Ambala, several other places, we had people following the campaign with us, and that was just such an encouragement that it didn't just stop with our church, it went to other churches. And I hope you didn't miss out on that, but if you did, everything's right here, and you can start it whenever you want, and I'd love to get that stuff over to you. So you tell us how to send you the material, or how to send you the links, and we will do that for you. If you want Hindi, then I got a good friend, Pastor Justin Masih, who's in Allahabad. He's taught the whole thing in Hindi, so his videos are available. You can use his videos, you can use his material. He will send everything to you. We will send everything to you in Hindi, and you could use that. So that will take care of a few million people just between the English and the Hindi. So that's been my learning. We had a good time. I'm very excited about this. Now I'm diving in to kind of get those people growing in the Lord. And every 6 months or so, we do a campaign, and that jump starts the growth. It just brings in a lot of people, and it kind of creates an excitement in our church. That's a few things. You can always ask me more questions about how to do it, even while you're implementing it. I would be more than happy to engage with you and answer your questions. God bless you. And think about using a campaign in your church for evangelism, for growing your church, and for just getting some momentum going.